certainly the topic for the day. It was plainly obvious in the readings. So, what I'd like to do is I would like to break marriage down into 3 parts. The awesome part, the neutral part, and the horrible part. Everyone who gets married has a reasonable chance of experiencing all 3 parts. Although I admit it is possible to have only 1 or 2. I will start with the neutral part. The neutral part of getting married is the big party on your wedding day. That is neither bad nor holy. That is a celebration with friends and family. Go nuts, have fun, but you know, that's not the real point of marriage. That is not what makes marriage great in the first place. As for the horrible part, I will not speak directly for women, but there is something that fills many men with dread deep down within them. The loss of freedom, a lifelong commitment. That can be scary for a lot of people, and it's certainly risky. You know, what if this person becomes really mean after the wedding day? What if I find someone I like even more 5 years from now? I don't want to get married if that means I don't get to do whatever I want on Friday nights anymore. I have heard all these things and more from the men in my life. As for women, I can't speak directly for them, but to be fair, they have their own concern about the idea of marriage. When I hear from a woman who does not believe in marriage, it is rarely the idea of commitment that's the bother. For them, they see marriage as a socially acceptable form of patriarchy, of male dominance. They say that marriage is inherently wrong because on some level it makes the woman the property of the man. I am always sad to hear that. I don't agree with that assessment at all, but it's hard to talk to someone who has reached that point in their thinking, because it comes down to a kind of faith. When I look at marriage, I see great potential for beauty and equality, and they don't see what I see. And that's sad. That's sad. Now, I said all of this is the horrible part of marriage. I don't believe that commitment is horrible, very much the opposite. And, like I said, I do not believe for an instant that a true faith-filled marriage is male-dominated. Do not believe that. I am lumping these issues together as the horrible part of marriage because every married couple has to deal with this. They have to work through these issues. For instance, they have to be co-heirs to grace. They have to see each other as equals. One cannot be the servant of the other. That does not work, at least not in the long term. And likewise, they have to trust each other, knowing that all marriages have bad days and setbacks. One of you might get really sick, or you might have a kid when it doesn't seem like the best time for a kid. These things happen. They make marriage challenging. They do not make marriage pointless. Faith in God and faith in one another is the way through all of these issues. People without faith get very easily lost in the mire of legal marriage. And we fall into the exact same traps when we don't draw from the wellspring of our faith. Marriage is a sacrament. It is God-powered, which means if we're truly going to tap into the power of marriage as God desires for us, we have got to rise above that misconception that marriage is nothing but a legal status. It is so much more for them. It is so much more than that. So that finally leads us to the awesome part of marriage, the The point of marriage in the first place. When two people are married in the light of faith, they are forming a unique, lifelong bond with one another. It is an exclusive pairing that says there is no one else on earth that means as much to me as you do. What is mine is yours, and you will never truly be alone as long as my heart beats. Do you hear how that's more than a legal contract? That is no mere partnership. We all have plenty of those in life. Some of them last a long while, others not so much. All that's totally fine. But if you're going to say to someone else, I will always be here for you, those words are meaningless if they're conditional. An oath like that has got to be total and lifelong. And it's the Holy Spirit that's the glue that keeps that bond together. My old hero, G.K. Chesterton, actually has a fantastic quote about just this sort of thing. It's from his book, The Man Who Was Thursday, for the record. There are no words to express the abyss between isolation and having one ally. It may be conceded to the mathematicians that 4 is twice 2, but 2 is not twice 1. 2 is 2,000 times 1. That is why, in spite of 100 disadvantages, the world will always return to monogamy. If you didn't catch his meaning, he's saying that two people together are as powerful as 2,000 people acting as individuals. Having one true ally in life is mathematically impossible to compare to having no ally in life. Because having that one true partner in life, complete and total, is immensely powerful. That is what really gives marriage that great grace which we celebrate. And that is the perfect lead-in to the real-life example for the day. You know I like a real-life example whenever possible for these homilies. And today's real-life example will be the elephant in the room. A relatively young man who is not married is telling all of you how great marriage is. Who am I to say these things? That is a fair question. The best answer I have is this. I happen to be an individual who understands better than most what G.K. Chesterton was talking about in that quote, because I don't have that one true ally in life. And I can feel the spiritual absence that has left within me. Now, mind you, I have priestly ministry, good friends, excellent family, and my siblings and my parents. Any one of those things would go a long way. But ultimately, my life is a solitary one. I actually feel that the most when I have some kind of amazing, awesome adventure in life, and I have no one to share it with. You know, once I stumbled into an underground Japanese breakdancing competition. Don't even know how I did that. And it was awesome and surreal. I actually might have thought I was dreaming the whole thing if I didn't have, proof of it, like on my phone that I actually was there. It was an amazing night. And the only thing that was missing was someone to share it with. That one true ally at my side, that really would have been something. I hope that some of you remember the message today. For those of you who are currently married, I'd like you to refresh yourself on what a tremendous gift it is that you have in your marriage. Even though there are bad days, your marriage vows are a gateway to a greater spiritual reality through your spouse. That is a great gift. And for those of you who are not yet married, I am very much aware that a lot of you aren't even sure that you want to get married in the first place. if there ever comes a time where you think you might be ready to go through with something like that, understand that the church has already extended that invitation to forge that unique, lifelong bond with another. It is not for everyone. It's certainly not easy, but there is a part of every single one of us that absolutely aches for that kind of companionship, that kind of connection that can only really exist between two people who are committed for life. There is nothing else on earth that is quite like that. And that gives it immense power, and it makes it a powerfully beautiful thing through Christ.